mean, I think like from my own experience, like I did, kind of have the opportunity to play football because like the club that I started playing in, Stalahomen, they didn't really have a girls team in my age, so I played with the boys. But like, I always had the opportunity to play football, and I think that's kind of what I want to. Because I obviously know that's not the case for all the girls, and I think that's something that I want to be able to create. And now I'm working also together with my childhood club on kind of like building a strong team in the women's football sector. One thing that's like always been missing for me is in the women's football aspect is this, like you have a club on a certain level and you kind of reach a certain league, but this whole like marketing aspect and the branding of it, and like kind of trying to make the players like interesting products, and like the club an interesting product, the team like as a whole, like like people want to be part of it. And I think that's something that is still missing in women's football. I think the clubs that have men's teams on their sides, they would already have the branding because of the history of the club. It's not the case usually with the women's teams that are like standalone. I think a good example would be Angel City in the US that has created something from nothing. Obviously they have huge stars that own the club, so it obviously might be a bit easier. But I think there's always this kind of like excuses that are like we don't have money, or we don't have this, or we don't have sponsors. And I want to kind of like help and work with this club to like there's none of these excuses. It's like you can do it if you really believe in it, because it will be quite interesting to create a club that is just kind of like focusing on the women, and makes cool jerseys, like cool merch, and like just creates this like brand of a team that people want to be part of, even if they're not from the area. And I think that's something that's like missing, because people will be supporting Barcelona, but they wouldn't be from Barcelona. And that isn't always, it's not really the case. Like if you support Rosengard in the women's league in Sweden, you're probably from somewhere around. There's not that many people that would probably support the team not being from there. I mean, there's obviously some, but it's not the same volume of people. So I think that's something that I really want to work with, like obviously with the magazine, but on the side of of my experiences that I've had in women's football, I know what kind of wrong steps certain clubs are doing that are usually quite easy to fix. It's just all about like knowing which options you actually have, and being a little bit more like creative and spending a little more time on it. Yeah, I mean, I think ultimately, what I would like to see is like a more of an equal level on everywhere, like in general, like, there's always the talk about equal pay and these kind of things, and obviously, it's important, but I think, when I see, for example, now in the qualifications, you see some teams losing like, 20-0, 50-0, 15-0, 10-0, and like the levels of the teams, not only national teams, but also club teams are like, you're so big, and I kind of want to like, how do we, instead of like raising the money for the ones that win something, how do we kind of like make it more equal in general? Like, I think there's also an issue of like, there's maybe one player earning a lot in a team and everyone else is earning not so much, and then just there's also this equal pay, but like, how do we make it more equal on the team level? So that everyone can actually, get better, and the team can get better. Because if you just only have one player, and it's like the gap is so big there, that's also an issue, and I think is even more important. So yeah, I mean, I think for me in general, like for women in sports, how can we raise the level for everyone everywhere, so that the competition then becomes much more attractive, because the games will be a higher tempo, it will be more interesting to watch, and like the games will be more interesting because they wouldn't be so obvious, like, okay, they're gonna win. So yeah, I think that's something that I would like to see in the future.